Raise your hand if you've ever really taken a good look at the packaging that your food comes in. Most of us have probably glanced at nutrition information, or we've checked to see if an ingredient is in the food that we're buying or not. Have you guys ever noticed any of these images? GMOs, what exactly are they? Well, today I will be helping you answer that question, and we will dive into how they are made and what they're used for. Good afternoon. My name is Caitlin DeVault, and I'm here to talk to you about GMOs because they are directly affecting my life. I've recently been told that I've been having some problems losing weight because of the GMOs that are possibly in wheat products. I've been told to go on a gluten-free diet as best as I can and to see if that will help me. Because I was told this, I was very intrigued as to why these were causing issues. But before I could figure out why it was causing issues, I needed to exactly know what GMOs were and understand how they were made. According to the Non-GMO Project, a GMO, or a genetically modified organism, is a plant, animal, or microorganism whose genetic makeup has been manipulated to do something else. They've been made in laboratories and made with genetic engineering. This means that combinations of plants, animals, bacteria, and viruses, they're not made in a natural setting. Not all plants and animals are genetically modified. According to the FDA, for an organism to be considered genetically modified, it has to go through a process called genetic engineering. GMOs do not include plants and animals made of selective breeding or modified by giving hormone supplements or antibiotics. So that's not considered a GMO. It's the gene being affected directly itself. Genetic engineering is widely used in biological research. Mice models have been engineered for biomedical studies. Bacteria is engineered for studies in medicine. And crops are engineered for agricultural reasons. But we'll dive into that a little bit later in the presentation. Now that you have a better understanding of what GMOs are, let's move to how they are made. The first step in this process is identifying the trait of interest in the plant. Finding a trait of interest is a combination of critical thinking and luck. If researchers were looking at the trait that would allow a crop to survive in a specific weather environment, they have to find crops that already survive in that environment. And then we move into the isolation of the gene that is being looked at. Researchers go into the lab and they isolate the gene of interest. The genes of the plants with the desired trait are compared to genomes in the same plant species without it. And the goal is to identify the gene that's only present in the plant with this desirable trait. Next, researchers will take that gene and they will start the isolation process. After that, the gene is then transferred into the plant that is lacking the desired trait. This is a difficult process because of the structure of the plant itself. So some companies use things called a gene gun, which shoots out a little piece of metal that is coated in the DNA, and then that gets shot into the plant tissue itself, and then the plant will absorb the DNA. Other companies have started to use bacteria as a replacement for the gene gun because it's a more natural way of getting the bacteria or the DNA into the tissue. After that, the last step is to grow the genetically modified plant. A lot of companies raise new plants and to make sure that they will survive before they decide to reproduce the plant itself. This can be done in a climate-controlled facility like a greenhouse, and they are very meticulously checked on to make sure that the growing process is going well. And due to the extensive studies, GMO seeds actually come with instructions on spacing and how to feed them. So now that we know how GMOs are made, let's take a look at how they're used in different processes. The agricultural reasons are the more familiar reasons. We know that they're given to, the GMO crops are made to help ward off any insects. They'll become resistant to the insects that attack that particular plant. And now plants are also becoming resistant to herbicides, which help weed control. We don't have to worry about the plants dying while they're getting sprayed with the weed killer. In medicine, many modern medicines are now being made with GMO bacteria, and they give the potential to cure human genetic diseases. And the most popular GMO medications are injectable insulin. They are used to control heart attacks, strokes, seizures, TB, and could potentially help control cancer cells. The last place that we see GMOs being used is bioremediation. And this is where GMOs are being mixed in with nutrients, and then they're being planted in the soil to help clear up any pollutants that are in the area. And it helps degrade specific contaminants at a higher rate than normal. So now with all this information in mind, I'd like to recap a few of my main points. GMOs are genetically modified organisms that have been made by scientists in labs. The process is very extensive and includes identifying traits that are desired for a specific purpose. And GMOs are not only used in food, but they're used in medicine, and they help aid in the cleanup in pollutants. I hope this has provided you guys with more information, and I would like to thank you for your time.